One of the biggest challenges facing U.S. President Joe Biden is how to deal with Iran. In the run-up to Biden's inauguration, Iran said it would resume enriching uranium to 20% purity. It was a clear breach of the 2015 nuclear deal. On Sunday, Iran urged the United States to lift all sanctions if it wants Iran to return to compliance with the agreement. What's behind this move and what's the outlook for the nuclear deal? Muhammad Riza Musavi of NHK's Tehran bureau put those questions to one of Iran's top diplomats.
This Tehran store is filled with goods featuring the image of assassinated Major General Qasem Soleimani. He was considered the second most powerful person in Iran, and his popularity endures after his death.
I bought a book for my grandson. His tragic death must not be forgotten, even in the next generation.
Soleimani was targeted in a U.S. drone strike 1 year ago near Baghdad airport. People in Iran are still angry about his killing. This is Soleimani's hometown, 800 kilometers southeast of Tehran. This is the grave of General Qasem Soleimani. 1 year after he was killed, many people are here to visit his grave. Carved into the headstone, attacked and martyred under the direct order of the U.S. President. People can visit Soleimani's grave virtually during the pandemic. The red letters on the roof of a neighboring mosque spell out harsh revenge. People paying homage to Soleimani don't hide their feelings about the U.S.
My hatred of America has increased. We must get revenge someday.
As the U.S. sticks to its hardline stance, anti-American sentiment is gaining ground, especially in political circles. We sat down with Iran's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs to learn more about the tensions between Tehran and Washington.
There is no enthusiasm for the return of the US, the US to the JCPOA. Thanks to President Trump's sanctions, now it is for 2 years that we are experiencing economy without oil. And we survived. Not only we survived, we are managing our economy in a different way, and this is not bad.
Sanctions on the oil sector, which accounts for 30% of state revenues, have hit hard. The country's currency has lost 5/6 of its value in the last 4 years, and the cost of living has skyrocketed. The economy has spiraled into an unprecedented crisis. At this Tehran supermarket, the manager shows us this ledger. It lists the names of customers who have bought on credit. Paying on credit is common in Iran, but recently people haven't been settling up. The supermarket is feeling the direct impact of the sanctions.
The price of dairy products has doubled in just under a year, but people's incomes haven't increased. There are many people who haven't paid, and I doubt that they will ever pay.
As people struggle to make ends meet, Iran has begun enriching uranium to 20% purity. That would shorten the time needed to produce weapons-grade uranium. But Iran insists the enrichment program is for peaceful purposes. Araghchi sees enriching uranium to 20% as an important diplomatic card for Iran to play.
I, as a diplomat, would not lose a minute to ensure that sanctions are lifted once again. A very important point is that 20% enrichment is easily reversible.
Arakchi says it's up to the U.S. to make the next move.
It is up to them to decide. We would wait for the new administration to see how they want to return to the JCPOA and to their obligations in the JCPOA.
We are now joined by Muhammad Riza Musavi from our Tehran bureau. Muhammad, thanks for your report. Why do you think that Deputy Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, a former ambassador to Japan, accepted NHK interview at this juncture? And what kind of message do you think he wanted to deliver?
Well, in fact, Deputy Foreign Minister Arakchi did say this was his first long interview with foreign media in 2 years. It seems Iran has been holding out hope that President Biden would return to the nuclear deal after years of the maximum pressure campaign by President Trump. Iran's economy has been severely damaged. The sooner the U.S. returns to full compliance with the nuclear accord, the better it is for Iran. So I have talked to some analysts who believed if the U.S. doesn't take any action, it could spell the last nail in the coffin of the nuclear deal.
But as your report shows, U.S. sanctions have been heartening Iran's economy, and this seems to be what pushed the government to take more provocative actions. In the meantime, President Biden came out on Sunday saying Iran must fully comply with the deal first. The U.S. position seems very clear.
Iranian officials
go ahead.
have been arguing that Iran was in full compliance with the nuclear accord when the U.S. withdrew from it in violation of the Security Council resolution to implement the measures agreed on in the deal. They believe the ball is firmly in the U.S. court. That said, in a recent interview with CNN, Iran's Foreign Minister Javad Zarif signaled that a mechanism could be worked out so that both countries take steps simultaneously to return to the nuclear deal. He said, should the U.S. fully return to its obligations under it, Iran would stop its 20% uranium enrichment.
So Iran is saying that since the U.S. violated the agreement first, it should be the one to return to the deal first, while hinting there is some room for negotiation. What comes next?
Well, a key deadline should be coming soon, maybe even in a matter of a couple of weeks. Recently, Parliament passed a law obliging the government to harden its nuclear position if sanctions aren't lifted, including discontinuing some inspections by the IAEA. Should the U.S. not effectively lift sanctions by late February, President Rouhani will have no other option than ceasing voluntary implementation of the additional protocol. That would limit IAEA inspections of suspicious locations where Iran may have undeclared nuclear activities. And then in June, Iran's presidential election will be held. Many people are confident that a failure in the nuclear deal's fate will lead to a hardline president being elected. And that would certainly further complicate the U.S.-Iran standoff.
So we have to keep a close watch on this. Thank you, Muhammad, for your insights.